In today's morning rounds, we are looking at new research on when to screen your children for autism. Autism is a spectrum disorder that may affect social skills, behavior, and communication. And a study in the medical journal JAMA Pediatrics suggests children could be diagnosed as early as 14 months. Current guidelines recommend screenings during regular doctor visits at 18 to 24 months. An earlier diagnosis could also mean earlier treatment. Our Dr. David Agus joins us from Los Angeles. Doctor, good to see you. We now know that 1 in 59 children have been diagnosed with autism. How helpful can an early diagnosis be?
It's paramount. What we know is that classically here in the United States, autism is diagnosed around age 3 and age 4, even though we screen for it slightly earlier. And the brain is developing earlier. So if you could diagnose it at age 14 months before the connections have been made, it's called plasticity. Those connections through behavioral therapy can be stronger. And so the hope is we can influence the brain with behavioral therapy much earlier before those connections really start to kick in, so we can actually have better function later in life in these children with autism spectrum disorder.
So David, what is it that how are they able to detect it earlier?
So we had thought that if you start to see late change or delayed behavior in children at an early age, well, we're going to watch till age 2 and 3 to know if it's autism spectrum disorder. In this study, by age 14 months, by doing standardized testing, they could actually, with 84% accuracy, diagnose autism. 14% of the kids who were diagnosed as potentially having ASD, autism spectrum disorder, actually had another developmental disorder. Only 2% of the kids who they thought had ASD actually developed normally through later years. So this is a very important study and has a lot of optimism for bringing earlier treatment to kids.
What does the latest data say about what causes autism?
I wish we really knew, but what we know is that there's a significant genetic association with it. And what we also know is that the older the parent is, the higher the likelihood of the child having autism spectrum disorder. We think it's involved in brain development in the first and second trimester, but that's about it. What we do know definitively is that vaccines do not cause autism.
Can I ask you about this different study that was out earlier this year, or excuse me, this month, that found that autism symptoms dropped by 45% after a fecal transplant? Tell us about that.
That is amazing. I mean, what they showed is that most children with autism or adults with autism have either constipation or diarrhea. And in this study, they gave antibiotics followed by 7 or 8 weeks of a pill that contained somebody else's bacteria, and they showed a 45% reduction in the autism symptoms, but it lasted for up to 2 years, which is how long they followed in the study. So this brings tremendous optimism. You get rid of other biologic issues going on, like the GI things, and the brain can function better. So it didn't get rid of the autism disorder, but at the same time, it dramatically improved symptoms and allowed the children or the adults to function better.
More to be done on the microbiome. David, thank you so much.